Hello everyone and welcome back to chapter 10 of my FE12 Hard 4 playthrough. The story continues with Marth and his army peacefully and non-aggressively waging war against Kadeen and wiping them off the map for opposing us. This map looks unassuming at first but is actually quite tricky. The main focus is the one-on-one duel between Merrick and Arlen. A-R-L-E-N. Arlen. Dumbass name. Fucking moron, piece of shit. Fuck you. The main focus is the one-on-one duel between Merrick and Arlen near the throne. Both of these characters are recruitable, but keeping them from killing each other is tough, as both Excalibur and Thoron have a significant crit rate, and they start within each other's attack range. The many anti-air weapons on the path toward the throne prevents me from swooping in with my flyers immediately. Once again, Swarm Bishops make an appearance, but this time they start so close they can target and one-hit KO Fina. Before starting, I use the boots on Marth and promote Sida. When the map begins, I unequip Merrick and use the pure water to buy time. Meanwhile, I KO both swarm users with my snipers. The primary threat at this point are the oncoming groups of enemies from both directions. Although they're unpromoted, the mages in particular still hit extremely hard with their Bolganon, and my units have grown almost no points of resistance for the entire game. I draw many enemies toward the center with Chris, including a dangerous sniper, and also recruit Arlen on this turn with a Draconite Wendell. See guys, look at that, Wendell, I used it now. Are you happy? After this, yeah. Luke, Pala, Katria and Sirius decide to focus on the right group of enemies first, and avoiding the range of the others at the same time. On the following turn, I killed the remaining enemies, and with that, the challenge of the map. None of the other enemies are aggressive, so I'm free to walk Marth to the throne and seize at any time. Along the way, I obtain the Recover, Physic, and Bullion using the Thief Staff and the Thief Person. Since my Lind experiment went so successfully, I thought it'd be a great idea to train another mage, and between Arlen, Merrick and Edsel, I chose Merrick for his unique qualities of being able to use Excalibur at base, which Arlen can't. He's also unpromoted and has many levels yet to gain, which Edsel doesn't. And he's also one of 4 units that I need at the end of the game for something special, and I thought while he's there, he could help me out and do some fighting too. To this end, I give Merrick some kills for some XP, before seizing. At the end of the chapter, Goto joins the call to let us know that Hardin has been corrupted by the Darksphere, which has amplified his inner jealousy and anger. But we know that's not true. Hardin is a true example of a real alpha man, and if there's one thing to know about those guys, is that they're never insecure, or fragile, or even have feelings, cause that's for pussies. So Goto is just wrong there, but that's okay. But he tells us to come to his retirement home in the faraway reaches of the continent to obtain the Light Sphere, the only way that exists to counter the Dark Sphere. We have just been given an important mission from what is essentially Jesus, or God, or something, to steer the world away from the path of destruction. But before we do that, let's check in with our best friends, the Assassins, once again. You see this guy? He's Legion. Except that's not true, I think. There's an infinite number of them that all look the same and talk weird. Morses! And nobody knows what their deal is or where they came from, but they exist and are here to kill us because they've been told to by this person who is like their mother, but not their real mother because they're orphans, remember? But can a clone be considered an orphan? If you could produce and grow humans inside a lab, are they orphans? Is that the same thing? Maybe the real Legion is their father, and mother too? There's a real one, by the way, from which all the other clones draw their strength. When the real one dies, the rest cease to function. Yeah. If that made any sense to you, please check yourself into a hospital fast. This map, like the other Gaiden maps, is extremely small. It features only bosses, copies of Legion, and the objective is to find and defeat the real one. A quick way to cheese this map is to hover the cursor over one of the lower legions, and whichever of the 3 at the top it switches to first is the real one. With this knowledge, it's really easy for me to send Chris up and one-route him to end the map quickly. When the map starts, we're joined by Horus, because he's being chased by the legions, because he worked with Marth before. After all, that's their whole thing. Really, the only significant thing that happens this map is that I repair rescue with Hammern and farm XP off of some of the Legion clones before ending the map with a one-shot. When the map ends, these two characters Malice and Dice join. If you don't know who these guys are, they show up in Arcanea Saga, which is essentially DLC for the original FE3. Their whole thing is that they're dirt poor, because Dice, true to his name, gambles all their money and now they're in poverty or whatever, which isn't very cool. Personally, I don't really enjoy when they make characters join after a map is concluded, as by the time the next map starts, I forget they're even there, and they're already not very remarkable to begin with.